that I've interviewed, and you had some level of popularity as well. But lately, you've been disappearing from that, doing your own show with Kenny and whatnot. Can you tell us about the transition, your reasons for why, and etc.?
Well, I still post random first-person VODs and just commentaries here and there. Usually, I just post like funny videos making fun of Starcraft players or myself, things like that. And really, I noticed, and I don't want to try to make myself sound like I'm out there for the money and stuff like that. But I noticed after about a year of doing YouTube commentaries that it was great. I was getting a lot of fans and a lot of support, but I wasn't getting any recognition, so to speak, in the esports community with teams or anything like that. So I started moving away. And one thing I also noticed was my lack of understanding of the game of StarCraft. I feel, and people can debate this, that the only way to truly, really start understanding the game, to kind of put yourself in a player situation, so you can kind of talk about how they must be feeling or what they or what they might be trying to do to get out of certain situations. You can only do that effectively either through extensive research or by actually playing the game. And I mean, a great example of extensive research is Diggity. Diggity will admit himself that he's not the greatest StarCraft player, but his knowledge of the game is very deep, and he studies very hard to understand the strategies and the tactics. And the way I did it was I just stopped commentating and actually just started playing, and to try to get better at the game so I can commentate better off of actual knowledge. And I watch Pro League and OSL and MSL, but getting back to the main question was I started moving away from YouTube because I realized that the support from the community there was great, but I wanted to really break into the scene because I really want to do a job like this for a living. I would love to be in some kind of esports profession. Working for Blizzard would have been amazing. Congrats to Rob Simpson for getting that esports commentator job, because I was trying to get that as well. But
yes,
I realized that the only way you can really get companies to take notice of you is really, I felt at the time, was not through YouTube, but actually just getting in contact with people personally and getting your name out there. And that's why I was invited to commentate Warcraft 3 last year for WCG USA last year. And this year I did StarCraft and Warcraft 3 for USA Finals. So I feel I've been making a little bit better progress. But and I'm not trying to make it sound like I'm greedy in it for the money, because I want to do this for a job. And if
living the dream.
Yeah, I want to make this my job. So if I have to stop commentating as much on YouTube so I can spend more time trying to get contacts with people to actually fulfill my dream. So I'm sorry, my YouTube fans, for being a slacker on that.
Well, I'm sure they'll forgive you, since you do create unique content like no other YouTube commentator over at Justin TV and whatnot. So I guess it's what you do instead that determines the final outcome. I think you're doing an excellent job, and I do think this is a potentially golden route to one day being able to make a living out of this, so that you can truly devote yourself to this passion. I share a similar goal myself. I totally get where you're coming from. Best of luck with living the dream there, Brent.
You too, Sebastian. And your site's a very nice site, by the way. I've been there. It's very clean and well designed. So I hope that really takes off for you as well.
Thank you. It's been progressing lately, and well, thank you very much. We'll see what happens with StarCraft 2. The future will be here. So then,
StarCraft 2 is going to change everything. It's going to be so crazy.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which, well, before we round this off, every time I have the pleasure to speak with someone who has played it, and I've listened to your podcasts and whatnot, but tell us a little about StarCraft 2 and the latest battle report which you and Kenny talked about. What can you tell us more?
Well, just so people have a little bit of experience in my StarCraft 2 background, I've been to every single BlizzCon that StarCraft 2 has been available to play.
Lucky you.
I went to the press event in June of 2009, where I with SC2GG.com, and then I also played at PAX this year as well, 2009. And my overall impressions, I mean, it changed. I mean, my impressions of the game has changed since 2007 so much. But from my last playthrough from BlizzCon and PAX, the game, in my opinion, is done, and they've said that themselves. The only thing that they need to do is they need to get the beta out and just get feedback from the community, because that's the only way they're going to be able to find out balance issues and major bugs or glitches in the game. Right now, from my personal understanding, from having talked to Kevin, Karun, is that they're just still trying to nail down the BattleNet server, the handles, because there's a lot of people in the StarCraft 2 beta, so they're just trying to really nail down the new BattleNet 2 server to make it, not laggy, to make it, acceptable, because it's going to be a worldwide beta. So they're just really trying to hammer that down. And of course they're still doing their internal testing and stuff like that. But the game is ready. And it's great. It's amazing. A lot of people are saying it's too cartoony or too this, or it's not StarCraft enough. Believe me, as a avid StarCraft player, it feels like StarCraft. It plays as fast as StarCraft. And it's not even on the fastest setting. It's like on the second fastest setting, from my understanding. And that's still pretty fast. And it's amazing. Believe me, it's going to be a great RTS game.
I think so too. Not having played it at all, it fills me with hope. So let's hope we get to beta before Christmas, indeed.
Oh, me too.
Either way, a very quick question finally here before we go. Brent, who will win the IEF tournament?
Oh, it's gonna be Bisu. I'm sorry. I mean, he's won the last 2 years of IEF, and a lot of people are like, oh, well, he's just a Bisu fan, and blah, blah, blah. But, I mean, despite what people may say about Bisu, he's really the Protoss, other than Nal Ra, who has really revolutionized the race and gave it hope and really, made it a force to be reckoned with, and given inspiration to other Protosses. Everybody has copied his build. Which is known as the Bisu build, but I mean, everybody has copied from that and then expounded from that, much like everybody, did that from Nal Ra. So I mean, Bisu is still a strong player. He's still like top 5, current StarCraft players who do really well. So I really expect him to take first place. But Effort is in the group along with Flash, and those two could give him trouble, but I'm pretty sure Bisu is going to come out on top.
All right, I won't argue with you there, even though I would like to see a Zerg on top of the ladder, but we'll see.
I'm sorry, Flash isn't in the group. It's Boxer.
Oh,
sorry,
well,
Flash isn't in there. My bad.
Hope, but not probability. Viewers will find links to everything we talked about, including this, and of course Brent and Kenny's show, which is going down in, well, when this is released, only a couple of hours, which is a great event. Everybody should watch it. Make sure to subscribe to Kenny's channel, and indeed Twitter, twitter.com/BrentandKenny. Any last famous words you want to share with the world there, Brent?
Yes, I would love to thank Kenny for inviting me to be a co-host on his show. It's been amazing working with him, and he is the greatest guy to work with. I think sometimes he might take me too seriously when I poke fun at him about certain things, and I don't try to be I try not to be a mean person to people unless I receive ill intention from them. But Kenny, I love you, and I'm so great that we're working together. I mean, JSI is kicking ass, and I hope that we can continue to work with Justin TV. So shout out to Justin for sponsoring the StarCraft tournament. Huge thanks to Justin. Everybody, go to gaming.justin.tv. And they got tons of stuff that they're always streaming, Borderlands and Halo 3 and just tons of stuff. So check that out. And huge thanks to IC Cup for letting us use their name to help promote IC Cup in their private StarCraft ladder. You can go to iccup.com to, if you haven't already, start playing StarCraft on a hack-free type environment.
It's the
and
best.
Then also, it is the best. Everybody plays there, Koreans and the top foreigners. And then huge thanks to myeg.net, that's Team EG, for the great American players that are there. And I mean, not just for StarCraft, but the management there. They've been very supportive of the Brent and Kenny show as well, and just huge thanks to them.
Indeed. these are all very commendable sources and supporters of Starcraft. Let me thank you again, Brent, for doing this interview, and good luck with the coming live cast. I'm looking forward to it, as do all of the people listening to this, I'm sure.
Thank you very much, Sebastian, for having me on.
It was a pleasure. Good game, Brent.